What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Salute to all of the bag chasers. Salute to all of the people that's at work, my truck drivers, my stay-at-home mothers, my people that's still able to work from home and has not been affected. Shout out to all of my people that's laid off. This show is for you. This show is for my liberals, my conservatives, my fake independents that want to act like they independent. Yo, I'm going through a midlife crisis, I think. I've already concluded that I'm going through a midlife crisis. What up? What up to everybody in the chat? I see y'all. Y'all enjoyed the show last night on the Q show. Are we not the most consistent content creators on the face of the earth? You know that you're going to show up and get the Millionaire Morning Show. You know on Monday nights, you're going to get the Q show. You know on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, we're going to do after hours. So tonight we're doing after hours with all of my friends, Molly, Mika, Carrie, Quentin. Well, not Mika. Mika not on Tuesdays because Mika is taking care of business on her own content on Tuesdays. But Carrie, Quentin, Slimmy, you know that you're going to get this work. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all of y'all. Shout out to everybody that's in the building on the East Coast, the West Coast, down South, Middle America, Midwest. Shout out to y'all. I think I'm going through a midlife crisis. I really do. I'm more quiet in real life than I've ever been. I'm more quiet in life than I've ever been. Like, for whatever reason, when I'm walking around and I'm chilling and I'm observing and I'm interacting with people, I'm more reserved. I'm more quiet, and I'm thinking all the time. My brain is going all the time. And I sometimes think that I should do something and then I shouldn't do something. And then yesterday I was having thoughts that I possibly should sell all of my cars and start over and be a minimalist. And then I was thinking to myself, but that was my dream car, the 96 Impala, because I wanted to start off with that. And then I put it up on X. And make sure y'all following me on all of my social media platforms. Those links is in the description because I don't want y'all getting finessed by any of these fake people that's on the internet that's acting like they got a bank account or they got a ulterior account or something like that. That's not me. The only thing that I rock out on is my regular YouTube channel and all of the social media platforms that's in the description. But I am, man. I think I'm going through a little bit of a midlife crisis in that I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if it's a combination of age and objective. I'm shifting my focus a lot to wanting to be more of a builder. I want to be one of the biggest real estate investors and builders in Michigan and the United States of America. I want to scale up to that within the next 10 years. I'm going back and forth on whether or not I want to actually share my life in a vlog. I started vlogging yesterday for the camera, and then I just cut that junk off. I'm like, heck no. Heck no. No way in the world am I going to be, I'm evolving, Molly. No way in the world that I'm going to be sharing this level of insight with y'all. No way in hell. Maybe I'll just share a little bit, or I'll just make it to where I just give you a behind the scenes of my thoughts or something. But sharing you my whole day, H no. No way, no how. Heck no. Woo! I mean, aside from just the security, if somebody is following your vlog, then they're able to see exactly how you move when you're at certain places, when you're not at home and all of that stuff. I'm like, nah, man, nah. It's just got to become natural. You know what I'm saying? It's got to become natural. For yesterday, for the first time in a long time, I actually did Instacart down at the place that I got downtown, and I cooked. I can cook. Like, I can cook. Running the restaurants and owning the restaurants will do that to you. I can really, really get down in the kitchen. So, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to come out the house after a certain amount of time, and I just wanted to stay in the house. I stayed in the house the whole day, even though it was the warmest day of the year. I jump outside. I'm fresh to death and all of that, and then I just go to my place. I cook. I work out. I take a nap, and then I live stream. I watch Landman. I watch a little bit of Paramount Plus Landman. Then I was thinking to myself, man, I should sell all of my cars. I should start with the 96 Impala and all of this stuff. And I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Who am I? And what am I doing right now? So right now I'm going through a little bit of a midlife crisis, trying to understand who I am, leaving corporate America again for the second time. It's like, why am I not in corporate America taking advantage of that? So you just go through that. I think you go through that as a guy. For all of my fellas out there that's trying to figure out why they are the way they are, you're not alone. You're not alone. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes the people in your life will sit there and they be like, why are you so quiet? What's wrong with you? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like talking right now. I'm just gonna listen to you. I don't know. What is wrong with me? You know what I'm saying? I'm just chilling. You start caring more about health than wealth. You don't care about money as much. You only care about working out. You only care about what you're eating. You start focusing on your numbers more. You get on a scale every single day. You're ordering stuff from Amazon. You ordering scales and lights and all kind of stuff that you never thought before. You don't want to go to the mall as much anymore to go and pick up the high-end items. You only want to go to Home Depot and Lowe's. You're trying to go into designer stuff and getting into magazines to see what you're going to make the next room out to be. You care more about crown molding than you do care about your next Gucci hookup. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of the phase that I'm in. It's like, yeah, I'm going to travel. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to do things. But I don't really care about all of this stuff anymore. My guy at the Gucci store hit me up and he said, Anton, I got some new pieces that I curated for you. I said, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop in and see. I didn't even stop in. I didn't even make a phone call to tell him I wasn't coming. Yeah, I just don't, I don't care. I'd rather sit there and talk to my contractors that's working on building the houses and get their thoughts and what's going on with their families and any of this same stuff that they talking about on the internet. Like, I like people in real life, but I don't want to talk. I just want to listen to them talk. But then everywhere that I go, because I got some visibility and I'm probably one of the most visible people as far as vloggers and content creators inside of Detroit, everybody want to hear me talk and say it. I just want to hear you talk. I talk all day. I talk on the after hour show. I talk on Q show. I talk on a Millionaire Morning Show. I just want to hear you talk. I don't want to talk. Can I hear you? I just want to see you. Can I watch y'all? Can I watch everybody else? A bunch of people came over to my place yesterday. I was up there taking a nap. They came in and said, hey, Anton. There's a bunch of people that came in into my apartment downtown. I was like, hey, what's going on, y'all? I said, y'all open the door. Y'all just go ahead and y'all enjoy yourself. I'm going to go in the back room and take a nap. I left because, it's part of the place that I have is an entertainment space. My cousin came over. My little cousin came over. A couple people came over and stuff. I went to my room and I went and took a nap. And I said, y'all have fun. Y'all can eat what y'all want, use what y'all want, have a good time. Use the rooftop. I'm about to go take a nap. I took a nap, woke up, did my live stream, went back to sleep, woke up, wanted to do some more work. I don't know what's wrong with me right now. There is something wrong with me right now. Honest to God. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, man. I don't know. So, anyways, for those of you that's trying to figure out what the heck you're doing on a daily basis, you're not alone. I am with you, and we are going to figure it out together. All right. So make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I'm just sharing with you some real life stuff. Let me read some of these cash apps and the super chats, and we're gonna go ahead and get started with the show. Mike, that dude says Black Friday sales on stock right now. Yeah, I can't wait to do the live stream. So we got a stock club coming up on the Patreon. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to my dog, Mike, that dude. We are still dollar cost averaging. Spencer Campbell says, good morning, AD. What up, though, Spencer Campbell? I appreciate you for always holding me down. Shamara McKay says, what's your specialty when cooking? Personally, I like, and it's the easiest dishes to cook, but I like breakfast food, but I like spicing breakfast food up with foods that you eat throughout the daytime. So, for example, you don't just make regular eggs. You actually have to cook it a certain way. You want to add a little bit of almond milk into it, but then you may want to have salmon eggs. You know what I'm saying? I love my favorite food to eat is breakfast food. I love Mexican food. I love Italian food. So anything of those, I absolutely enjoy. I love Chinese food. So you just, I think when cooking, you just want consistency, but you also want to specialize, right? You want to make a specialty dish for something that was normal. So right now I'm in this mode to where, you don't want to just make the regular of whatever it is that you would make. You would do bacon wrapped something. You know what I'm saying? So, you don't want to just have regular pancakes. You got to have, it have in a certain way with batter, and you want it to have it as little dimes, but you also want to have the whipped cream and the chopped strawberries and all of that stuff. So, I don't know, man. I'm in this mood. It's crazy. It's pretty interesting. Anyways, I'm just entertaining a different phase. Can we get that camel through the eye of the needle? Can we get that camel through the eye of the needle? DMV is a brunch per capital. Egg French toast. Grew up off breakfast food. Just add water and pancakes. Basically brunch. Basically brunch. Basically brunch. I like better weather now. I don't necessarily care for the cold. I don't know. Anyways, again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Let me read some of these super chats and we'll get started. Good morning, AD. Thank you. Thank you as always and stay blessed. What's up to my baby girl, Mika? What up? Thank you, Mika. I appreciate you. If Elon gave you $1 billion, what would you do? I don't need $1 billion personally. You know what I'm saying? Like, change lives. I would. Okay, listen, and let's entertain this. If I got $1 billion, number one, I don't want anybody to give me anything. So I'm not interested in anybody gifting me nothing. I don't want nobody to give me $1 billion. If I earned $1 billion, then I would probably go into a neighborhood or a community in Detroit and try to change it. I would probably invest overwhelming, almost all of it into infrastructure, streets, education, community center. But then I would also create an endowment. So I would probably take half of it and spend it in the community, and then take the other half of it and create an endowment that's invested in a trust that ultimately can sustain it. The problem with communities is that a lot of people go in and they rebuild it up, or they try to do something, but then the funding runs out, or they reach out to the government to help them. I think that if we created endowments for whatever the investment is, whatever you think that you're going to invest, whether you're giving it away, whether you're doing it for the community, you take half of it, you create an investment, an endowment for it to make sure it can sustain itself well after you're gone. And then you take the other half of it and you actually put it into the community. So that's what I would do. I would spend the majority of it probably on rehabilitation centers. Things that can help other people help themselves. Not a handout, but things that can help other people help themselves. I think that if you create the infrastructure, if you create the environment, ultimately you change the dynamics of the people and the cultural norms. So that's what I would do with it. I don't need any more than what I'm making. You know, I want to continue to be successful. I want to be rewarded for my success, but I don't need any more money personally, as far as like a billion, a trillion. I don't need that. I think that for me, my life is great. It's going well financially. I am set and secure. My daughter will never need anything. So now you start to think about impact and purpose and all of that type of stuff. And so you start looking at it, things from a philanthropy and all of that type of stuff. Once my people is taken care of, once I can live the rest of my life comfortably, once I can travel wherever it is that I want to go, how I want to go, then you start to think about whatever it is that happens to everybody else. So let me see. Let me read a couple of more super chats and then we'll get started with the show. Start a real estate reality show. Share the journey of how you become the biggest doing it. That could be an idea. Sounds like you need something new to chase, Anton. Whatever it is that I pick for myself new to chase is probably going to be toxic. And this is and this is why I don't need to be documenting my life, all right? Yesterday was National Nap Day. Was it? I believe that too. Courtney, what up, Courtney? Says moving with intention in this phase is all. Shout out to my girl, Courtney. Mr. Robinson says you put almond milk in your eggs, AD, just a drop. Just a drop. I thought I was the only one you put in almond milk in your pancakes. Good morning, AD. You see the videos of Ukraine sending drones to Moscow? I did see that. Don't look like Zelensky is looking for peace. We knew this, though. He ain't trying to have no peace talks. You're right, AD. I had this lady ask me why I'm so quiet. My thoughts were, how can I make this tax money work for me? Small talk be boring. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Thank you to everybody. I always like to read the super chats. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Tiege Hanley. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Somebody said, if you want to impress me, walk on water. I don't really even know what that means. Why would I be trying to impress another man? Let's get started with the show. Lord, bless us with stability, bless us with comfort, bless us with peace, but bless us with continued purpose. I asked everything in Jesus' name. It's simple as that. We don't need to get into it. So somebody asked me yesterday, Anton, can you do quick hits? And I just so happen to run in my algorithm and I see a bunch of stuff that I feel like I need to address. So without further ado, let's go into quick hits. Quick hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to bring everything into its own individual story, but we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop on what's going on in these streets. So we're going to go over 3 different things, and we're going to break down exactly what's going on in society across the United States of America. And I want to show you guys why you need to be more vigilant and why you have to be more careful and keep your head on a swivel on a regular basis before we get into the regular stories. So let's revisit this Lil Ronnie, you know, the rapper that got killed at the car wash with his 5-year-old and all of that. For those of you that's been living under a rock, well, the first guy got arrested. The second guy now got arrested, and we know that they fit the description. But check out how he got caught.
And Fox 4 obtained new details about the shooting at a Forest Hill car wash that killed a father and his 5-year-old daughter. Both suspects are in custody for capital murder after that shooting 1 week ago today. Fox 4's Dion Anglin is live with what those court documents reveal. Dion?
Hi there, Hannah. Disturbing details from court documents today, yet still no clear motive has been laid out.
Adonis Robinson, arrested in Polk County on Thursday, is now in the Tarrant County Jail. On Friday, 21-year-old Jacoby Russell was also booked into the jail. Both men are facing capital murder charges in the Forest Hill car wash deaths of rap artist Ronnie Sibley and his 5-year-old daughter Armani. Court documents in the case include an arrest affidavit for Robinson. And while it does not reflect a motive in the ambush killing, it does include details that played out a week ago. It indicates Sibley was vacuuming his car when two men got out of a 2016 white Kia Rio. It states the suspects were armed with an assault-style rifle and handguns. Investigators describe how they approached Sibley and immediately opened fire. And they continued to fire and chase Sibley as he tried to run and get away. The document reveals Sibley's 5-year-old daughter, while in the front passenger seat of his vehicle, was struck and killed by those flying bullets. Further information indicates Fort Worth police located the white Kia Rio at an apartment complex, and surveillance video obtained shows two men dressed identical to the suspects arriving a few minutes after the fatal shooting. They park the car, get out, and toss objects into a grassy field before going into an apartment. It was Robinson's girlfriend, according to the affidavit, who identified him. She was seen driving away in the vehicle. Police stopped her and brought her in for questioning, where she told investigators Robinson borrowed the car after dropping her off at work, then called her later, provided the location of the vehicle, and told her to come pick the vehicle up because something had happened. Police say Robinson's Texas identification card was located inside the white Kia.
So, the way that they found this guy is the girlfriend had a Kia. I thought it would be an Altima, wind up being a Kia. The girlfriend of the guy had a Kia. She's talking to a Dusty. I'm sure Molly is going to have a field day with this on After Hours if we had this conversation. He borrows her car after dropping her off at work, meaning that he has no job. He borrowed her car. He go and use her car, go pick up his homeboy. They go and execute this man and his little girl. They come back, drop the car off in a grassy field. His ID is still in the vehicle. He tell her, hey, listen, go get your car because I had to take care of something. Something happened. I ain't really care about it. He don't even tell her. She go about her day. She get pulled over. Don't even realize that the vehicle that she bought and that he is using to drop her off at work, she's got a regular everyday job, and he out here executing and doing stuff that ain't even supposed to be done. The regular job that he got, the vehicle that he's driving is the girlfriend's. The girlfriend get pulled over. She say, hey, man, what's going on? They say, hey, this car was used in an execution of a 5-year-old girl and Lil Ronnie. She said, who was driving the car? She said, oh, my boyfriend dropped me off of work. They go and arrest him and also find his ID inside of the vehicle. And these people are able to get guns, handguns, assault rifles. They in the streets. Somebody in the chat said, Anton, you should see one of their fathers. He tatted up with gold teeth and all of that. Throw the whole community away. Throw the whole community away. And then they want us to come back to the hood to give to the hood. I changed my mind. Remember in the beginning of this show where I said, y'all asked me, I said, Anton, what would you do if Elon Musk gave you a bill? I don't know. Throw it out the window. Trick it off. Spend it in the strip. Anything. Throw it at the dancers. Anything. I'm not going into the community and fixing nothing no more. Because after this, y'all don't deserve no community style meetings. Y'all don't deserve no recreation centers, no basketballs. You deserve to be making license plates in Pelican Bay. And these be the same people. They be having TikToks, Instagram. They be talking about how they need a good girl. I can't find no real ones. Ain't no girls gonna hold me down. Listen, no, you know what? I'm starting to get on a little bit of a tangent right now because these are the same. They be having girlfriends. They be having babies. They be having sex. They do all of the things that regular, everyday, tax-paying American citizens do on a regular basis. And then they'll sit there and say, hey, man, you think Trump racist? You just got done killing your brother. You just got done killing the very person. Yeah, I'm FBA. You just got done killing a man and his daughter and you eliminated a legacy. And then you'll be sitting over here talking to me about, hey, man, I can't even believe Trump taking this away from us. They really do think like this in real life. I run into it, man. Listen, I'm stereotyping everybody from now on. Everybody. I ain't giving no dap. I ain't giving no hugs. I'm keeping security with me 100% of the time. 100%. Hey, man, what's going on? Man, I love your show, bruh. Yo, Brody, I love your show. All right, I love your show too. Monsters. Absolute monsters. Anyways, in addition to that, 14-year-old shoots up a cop in Newark. Check it out. Quick hits, y'all.
Update tonight on the Newark detective shot and killed in the line of duty on Friday. The Essex County prosecutor says the 14-year-old boy charged with his murder is still in the hospital tonight and has not yet faced a judge. We are hearing tonight for the first time from the detective's family, who shared a little bit about his story with our Lisa Rosner.
Police bunting hangs outside a Newark police station minutes away from the home of the father of Newark detective Joseph Ascona. In Spanish, his heartbroken dad said, "No tengo palabra. No tengo palabra. I have no words. It's very difficult." Ascona's brother, Ronnie, touched by police officers from across New Jersey, who Saturday stood in salute as the 26-year-old's body was transferred from the medical examiner to a funeral home.
The support they gave us, even before this, I have no words.
Police said Friday night around 6:30 p.m., Detective Ascona was working with federal agents as part of an illegal weapons sting while responding to the corner of Carteret Avenue and Broadway for reports someone had a weapon. Police say Ascona was fatally shot before even stepping out of his vehicle.
I don't think it's another word, but a hero. He died doing his job.
Police took 5 people into custody, and so far a 14-year-old has been arrested and charged with murder, attempted murder, and illegal weapons possession. A second officer was also shot and is recovering in the hospital. Ascona, a 5-year veteran of the Newark police force, was promoted to detective 2 years ago and assigned to an intelligence unit. Ascona's brother says he's one of 5 siblings who knew he wanted to go into law enforcement in high school.
Hard-working man, he deserved it. He was going for more. And this wasn't something that just happened. It happened him working. That's what hurts a lot, too.
The detective's family tells me the funeral will be Friday and details will follow.
14-year-old. A 14-year-old shoots and kills a police officer that never even stepped out of his car, takes his life, and he was actually studying and going to law school. Defund the police, right? Let's give more community resources. Let's call, remember when they was telling us that we need to defund the police so that we can call social workers to basically come out to these disputes and find out what's going on to determine if we actually needed a police officer in the first place? These people do some of the hardest jobs. They have the highest divorce rates. They work the oddest shifts. They doing some of the most dangerous things. They don't know what's going to happen. And all it take is a 14-year-old, a little YN to come in and take his life. Rest in peace to him and his family. And then last but not least, for all of my Dominicans, come on back to the front of the congregation. Y'all putting y'all girlfriends inside of body bags, inside of suitcases?
Eso es lo que tú eres, un perro, un animal, un monstruo. Que solo Dios y yo sabemos. Maldito monstruo. Monstruo.
They called him a monster, the devil, and a dog. The emotional scene Friday night outside the 4-6 precinct in the Bronx as Junior Perez Diaz was charged with the kidnapping and murder of his ex-girlfriend.
Justicia para Pamela. Justicia para Pamela. Justicia para Pamela. Justicia para Pamela.
Meanwhile, the cries for justice for Pamela Alcantara echo just a few blocks away on Morris Avenue. The victim's family gathering for a prayer vigil outside the apartment building where she last lived with Perez Diaz.
Junior Perez was charged, and so our prayers have been answered. Our prayers have been answered.
Police say he killed the woman and then dumped her body along the Sawmill River Parkway. Investigators locating her remains inside this red suitcase in Yonkers Thursday morning.
Ninguna madre sufra.
That is wild.
I don't want no mother to suffer what I'm living through today.
Her mother rushing to New York from the Dominican Republic, trying in vain to find her. Alcantara was last seen FaceTiming her while entering her elevator Sunday morning. But the devout Christian never made it to church. Sources say detectives asked Perez Diaz where Alcantara was, and he told them she left in her pajamas carrying a big red suitcase. They later discovered video showing him allegedly wheeling her body out of the building in that suitcase and into his car.
Can you imagine being the person, the police officer, the EMT, the forensic investigator, whatever it is that they have to call in, and you find a red suitcase on the side of the road, and it's somebody that was supposed to be at church the day before, chopped up and stuffed inside of that red suitcase? Y'all are truly monsters. You know, last night, I always like to reflect on the things that I see the day after once I have a conversation with people last night, right? Ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. I always like to have a reflection on the conversations after I talk last night, right? Last night, they tried to hold me accountable. Some of y'all was there last night, and they were telling me that I don't need to add covering and protection and parameters around what my daughter can and can't do. That's not only just for what she decide that she want to do in school or where she want to go to school, but also the rules that I extend to her of whether or not she can have certain freedoms, because it is for your protection. And I had to go off. At first, I let it go on for like an hour or so. And then I said, man, don't y'all realize that this is the reason why our communities is in shambles in the first place? That you're supposed to vet the person and the people that your daughter is supposed to be around and stuff like that, so that they don't find themselves in a red suitcase on the side of the road. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I said, are y'all really arguing with me about being a covering and a protector for my daughter? And this is this every single day that I do quick hits. Every day we get a new report of this woman is in a body bag, and this person is out here killing people in her car while dropping her off to work. And I just did a review video of a woman that said that she missed out on her whole phase. I said, what? You missed out on what? I wish I'd have hold it out even more. I couldn't believe it. I was so confused. Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Like I said, that's your quick hits. Let me read some of these super chats. I'm telling you, we're going to lose our mind trying to reason with these people. Read some of these super chats. I'm a clean Robinson. He's a Dusty Robinson. We don't relate. Shout out to my dog, Mr. Robinson. I appreciate you. Pookie's friend Ray Ray is in the building, says, Pookie's always have some girls' car to drive when they're not out terrorizing the community. Hopefully grandma doesn't put her house up for a lawyer. They going to jail for the rest of their life. Hey, do they have the death penalty in Texas? Do they have the death penalty in Texas? Somebody tell me in the chat if they have the death penalty in Texas. Sean Fain supports the tariffs. Of course Sean Fain supports the tariffs because it preserves American jobs. Dang, I live right off the Sawmill Highway in Yonkers. Manuel AG, shout out to you. I appreciate you. New Boss says, AD, looking at two teenagers, ages 15 and 16, were arrested in Frostproof, Florida, for robbing and killing a 22-year-old man over $400 worth of green. That's why I stay out the way, bro. I stay out the way. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Y'all said, what do they have? Do they have the death penalty in Texas? Good. They both, I'm not a person that's an advocate for killing people, but I do believe that in this instance, with them killing that 5-year-old girl and that man, I think that they go ahead and need to be removed. Ain't no point in us paying. The problem is that they're going to get 18 years worth of appeals. So they're not going to get executed until they're in their 40s, right? But I think that they need to go ahead and remove them. Ain't nothing that can come out of this. It's no good that they can do that can fix society. We need to go ahead and start removing people. Thieves need to get limbs, you know what I'm saying? Get their little pinky cut off every time that you steal something, and we can prove that you actually took something that you wasn't supposed to take. Even if it's in a retail store, take a little bit of this pinky, and next time take a little bit more of this pinky. So that means you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You got 26 times to steal before you don't have no nubs. Then you're going to be answering the phone like this. Hello? Hello? You got 26 times to steal, then you're going to be answering the phone like this. Hello? Yeah, they cut all my pinkies off. Take a little bit of the nub every single time. Oh, you want to steal? Bam. Want to steal again? Bam. What else they steal? How many items did they steal today? 13? Okay, we might as well go ahead and take that whole hand off. We might as well go ahead and take that whole hand off. And don't file for disability. Hello? Hey, girl. Why are you only taking all of your pictures with one arm up? What's going on with your other arm? Don't worry about that. Because we need to have visual representation. We need to have visual representation of what you did. Scarlet letters. Stealing? Oh, man, that dude ain't got no hands. We need to watch him because he had that 5-finger discount. We need to start branding people so that we know what they did before they leave. So when we interact with them, we know how to protect ourselves. What? He ain't got no, he got 3 nubs. Oh, he been stealing his whole life. That's just the time that he got caught. I believe in it. I'm telling you. That way the women know what they getting into when they get into it. That way the men know, oh, she a kleptomaniac. Don't leave your homies around her because she's stealing wallets, she's stealing keys, she's stealing watches. She ain't got but 3 nubs left. Keep on answering the phone like this. Hey. I ain't got to worry about if she using no hands or not. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel. I'm not a mess. I'm just trying to solve what's happening. Nah, you don't want to have kids with him, huh? Because my kid going to come out deformed. No, he was just stealing. He got hands. He lost them because he kept on taking other people's things that he wasn't supposed to take. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. Let's get into Elon Musk, all right? So, before we get into Elon Musk, we got to get into this protester, all right? So remember last year during the Biden administration when Eric Adams was trying to get control of what was going on inside of his city, and they had basically created camps. They had started camping outside of Columbia University because they was protesting what was going on in Palestine and stop the war and all of that. Well, one of the protesters, I guess he didn't realize that Trump was coming into office. And so what's going on now is that they identified him and they detained him and they said that they was going to possibly deport him. But there's a little kerfuffle. Check it out.
Developing story on the campus of Columbia University. A student connected to pro-Palestinian protests last year has been detained by ICE. This comes on the heels of President Trump announcing the university will be stripped of federal funds. Eyewitness News reporter Sonia Rincon has the latest from Morningside Heights. Sonia.
Yeah, Tanya, an attorney for Mahmoud Khalil says even though he holds a green card, ICE agents came and detained him last night, claiming that his student visa was being revoked. Well, his attorney says he doesn't have a student visa. He is married to a U.S. citizen who also happens to be 8 months pregnant, and now
they try to have birthright citizenship up in here. You got a green card. You got a student visa. You ain't got a student visa. You got a green card. And so you over here at the university causing ruckus and trying to mess up our good American culture. I'm all for this. Let's continue.
She doesn't know where he's being held, and ICE won't tell her. Mahmoud Khalil spoke with ABC News during protests here at Columbia University last year, and you're looking at video from those protests. Khalil, who is Palestinian, was a student negotiator when there were tents on campus. Now, he graduated in December, but still lives in the neighborhood. He was arrested at his home, according to his attorney, who says agents claim to be following a State Department order. That attorney, Amy Greer, says ICE's arrest and detention of Mahmoud follows the U.S. government's open repression of student activism and political speech, specifically targeting students at Columbia University for criticism of Israel's assault on Gaza. Now, State Assembly member Emily Gallagher added in a social media post, "You can't detain someone and revoke their legal status because you don't like their speech. That's not my opinion. It's central to the rule of law." And the New York Immigration Coalition says if someone with a green card is suspected of committing a crime, well, they'd have to be arrested for that first.
ICE agents or Department of Homeland Security, they actually can't revoke anyone's green card. You have to go through a court process, and that means that
What's up with all of y'all sassy people that's outside of the United States of America coming into the United States of America? What's up with all of this sassiness? Men need to get more backbone. Speak with your chest, big dog.
immigration judge would have to revoke it, not an agent who's walking in the street haphazardly looking for anyone who may fit a profile that they're looking for and say, you know what, I'm going to revoke your visa. That's not how this works.
President Donald Trump has said he wants to have foreign students deported and detained if they're seen as agitators in campus protests, and advocates say this is a very dangerous policy. The administration also announced Friday that it is cutting $400 million in grants and contracts for Columbia University because of what it says was its failure to thwart anti-Semitism on campus.
So, you messed around and found out. So when the city and the mayor and the governor refused to deal with it, Trump had him on his hit list and he said, okay, I see. So we got people that's up here disturbing the peace, right? You can disagree, but you're not going to be camping out on campus. You're not going to be bullying people. You're not going to be messing up what we got going on inside of the United States of America. Okay. You know what? What I realized, free speech is for U.S. citizens. You can't do what you want to do when you over here in a country that you a visitor to, that you wasn't even born in. I'm with it. It don't set a dangerous precedent. It helps you to understand that when you own American soil and you a visitor and you got a green card, which can be revoked, you're going to have to be on your best behavior. Y'all not going to keep on coming over here into the good old US of A and disrupting what we got going on over here, messing up our universities, turning them into indoctrination camps, and thinking that you can do somewhere along the line, somebody told y'all that you can do what you want to do when you want to do it, and that's not true. That is reserved for people like me and the people in the chat. And if I'm in another country and I'm in there on a green card or a student visa, I am on my best behavior. Yo, even me just as a visitor to any country that I visit, anytime I step out of the United States of America, even going into Canada, which we've largely never viewed Canada as really that big of a deal, and we're not criminals anyway, so it really doesn't matter what we do or how we feel because we're not into something that we're not supposed to be in. I'm not going into some other place that I am not a natural born U.S. citizen and doing anything that's bringing attention to myself. I am on my best behavior. I'm out the way. I'm taking advantage of the American system already. I'm going to the university and I'm already 30. I'm not doing nothing that get myself. I don't even want to bring no visibility to myself. We've always been taught that, yo, when you not riding dirty, that's the way that they started catching people. Hey, you know what? He going under the speed limit. Pull him over and see what's going on. We don't move. We drive the speed limit. We put our seatbelts on. We stay out of the mix. If you want this thing to be a meaningful situation or demonstration, and do it in your own country. Do it where you came from. Don't come over here messing up what we got going on and thinking that you're going to get away with it. No, now you got to be dealt with. Even though the judge put a temporary pause on him getting deported, you messed around and found out. You thought the thing that you did under Biden wasn't going to stand over in Trump and that you was going to then get yourself together. Now y'all had? No, we coming to get you.
That former Columbia University student taken into custody.
The arrest almost prompting outrage, among others. Newscopter 7, live over a rally right now in Foley Square, is calling for a release of Mahmoud Khalil. We'll hear from Shannon Sohn, Newscopter 7, in just a moment.
But we begin with Eyewitness News reporter Lauren Glassberg. She's live near campus in Manhattanville. Lauren?
Yeah, it's a much quieter scene here than it is down at Foley Square. We're on 129th Street, where Columbia University does have a few buildings. And there's a press conference that is just starting right behind me over my shoulder, where members from the faculty from Columbia and Barnard, as well as immigration rights advocates, they are condemning the arrest and detention of that.
Listen, if y'all gonna be out there, let me give y'all a warning for everybody that wants to protest, that wants this guy over in the United States. And I don't care what you're protesting. I don't care if you're on this side. I don't care if you're on that side. That means nothing to me. Let me warn y'all. If you are a person that's in the same situation as him, then make sure that you don't get caught up, because Trump has already said that he's going to start removing funding from these universities that basically are indoctrination camps, DEI universities, and also that allows for this type of nonsense to go on. We not playing no games. Be careful. Be careful in your solidarity, because it could get you deported.
Columbia grad student who was detained over the weekend. Outside Columbia University, a small protest this afternoon calling for the release of Mahmoud Khalil. Federal immigration officials arrested the Palestinian activist on Saturday. Khalil's a Columbia grad student who has helped organize campus protests against Israel.
The students on this encampment are a gift to Columbia.
The Trump administration has pledged to detain and deport students who aren't citizens and support Hamas. The Secretary of State posted about the strategy to revoke visas and/or green cards of Hamas supporters. But Khalil isn't here on a student visa. He has a green card, and some students are outraged.
I think we need to protect the integrity of this institution as a place where people can feel comfortable.
Somebody saying Anton is pro-fake Israel on the low. I'm not. Anybody that's watched the Millionaire Morning Show, what did I say? I am pro-America. I don't care about nothing that nobody got going on outside of the United States of America at all. I am pro-America. I don't care about this side. I don't care about that side. It don't make, if it ain't American, then it doesn't mean anything to me. You don't see me sitting there advocating for anything except for peace in the world and for the United States of America to stop giving money over to places that then enrich these warmongers or people that keep advocating for war. I don't care about nothing that goes on outside of America. I am pro-America. That's it. That's it. And in some places in America I don't even like. Care nothing about. Y'all keep getting involved in stuff that ain't got nothing to do with you. You can't even fix your own hood, but you in here having a position and a stance on Israel and Hamas. That ain't even got nothing to do with you. That ain't even your fight. You want to be involved in something so bad. You want to be loved. You want to have a community, a group around you. You want to have a position on something so bad that ain't got nothing to do with you. You can't even fix your own hood. Your baby mama still hates you. You need to be pro-family and get back with your baby mama and fix your daughter's life, because she gonna be out here throwing it back for a real one, and ain't nobody gonna care about her. Be pro-you. Be pro-you. Anton, man, I don't give up. I am pro Leslie Daniels. I'm pro Anton Daniels. I'm pro Bag Chaser. I'm pro Millionaire Morning Show. I'm pro AntonDaniels.com. And I am pro After Hours. I'm pro Slimmy, pro Q, pro Molly, pro Mika, pro Carrie. I'm pro Q, Island Gal Q. I got my own family. Listen, my family is raging liberals. I'm pro getting them over into the conservative side instead of staying on the Democrat. I ain't got time to be sitting there dealing with your problems. I ain't giving no money to you. What my tax dollars going to you? I got my own family that's degenerates that I got to call every day and make sure that they doing what they supposed to do. I got time for you. Pro-Israel. I don't give a piss about no Ukraine or Russia. I don't plan on ever going there. I don't want to be a citizen of those trash countries. Care nothing about what you got going on. I can't believe it. We stand with China. I stand with Anton Daniels and all of my brothers and sisters and the bag chasers. If it ain't them, I don't care. I got my own problems in my own city that I need to solve for. I got kids in places that I grew up with that I donate to that I got to make sure that they straight. Care nothing about you. Y'all need to worry about getting the beam out of your own eye than standing with somebody that ain't got nothing to do with you. They don't even rock with your culture. They don't even like you. Ukraine don't even support your gay agenda. You know what Ukraine is like? Do you know what the people of, you know what their culture is like? They would castrate you. You standing with a bunch of people that don't even support your what it is that you allocate, what you advocate for on your liberal side. You just anti-Trump, and they don't even like you over there. And Trump is trying to get peace so that he can have our dollars go back into our country, and you anti-Trump and anti-America, and you pro them, and they hate you. If you went over there, they would throw you in the jail, and then they would take you and indoctrinate you and then put you on the front lines to get killed. Y'all want to be down so bad.
Comfortable sharing all opinions on these subjects, and I think this is a violation of academic and of human integrity.
Meanwhile, entrances to campus are restricted in anticipation of more protests, and it's the same story at Barnard. All of this as the president plans to pull $400 million in grants and contracts from Columbia for failing to stop anti-Semitism. But this professor says the school is doing a much better job of supporting Jewish students and faculty compared to last year, and that pulling funding is misguided.
The university shouldn't be penalized, and the faculty, and the graduate students, and the postdocs, they are
Look
terrified.
At this guy. Look at this guy.
Not by anti-Semitic rhetoric, by what is going on in the press and in Washington saying we're going to cut off funding.
This student who is Jewish and afraid of retribution says she feels threatened every day, and she says the government did the right thing when it comes to Khalil.
He has been openly anti-Semitic. He has engaged in just
Look at
objective
these people.
wrongdoing.
These people is just they got it all wrong. Anyway, so he's facing deportation, temporarily halted by a judge, but I will stay on top of it and I will give you guys updates as I get them. And then we will go from there. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats from all of these traitors. It's a bunch of traitors out here in these streets, man. It's a bunch of traitors. They so anti everything America. Why don't you move? Y'all should go over and enlist in the Ukraine war so that you can fight for their freedom. Go and enlist. AD, you can't argue with the hoe and the independent women. I ain't lying. You ain't lying, Mika. You were right last night and you right today. Shout out to Don John. I appreciate you, big dog. And thank you to Mika. Y'all go over there and check out the Red Cup podcast with Mika. Thank God my parents had rules. My dad was no joke and it saved your life. Yolanda, what up to Yolanda? I appreciate you. Anton, what they answer on the phone like again? Hello? Hello? Oh, I can't hear you. It's on mute. Hello? Oh, y'all gonna make my stomach hurt early in the morning. Don't make my stomach hurt early in the morning, man. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Oh, God. Lord, help me to get through this stream. Oh, my God. Lord, have mercy. I seen a comedian tell one of my jokes the other day. I was highly disappointed in them. I'm like, y'all ain't got no original material. Hi, top. Thank you, Barbecue Pits. I appreciate you. Playing knock knock with the phone says hi, Tolerance. Facts. Shout out to Tiege J. I'm gonna start calling out the people that be stealing material too. He effed around and found out. Yes, he did, Yolanda. Shout out to Pure Area 51 in the building. Says, AD, can you cover the story of the bully getting here in Killeen, Texas yesterday. Middle school kids, thank you. Send it to me. Send it to my email, antondaniels413@gmail.com. I'm not familiar with it. Send it to me, area. Purple Haze says, you know how to vet people if they're a thief in the future, if they have Neuralink because of no hands. Exactly. Old Testament justice. They forgot Trump got the big ones. MZG615 says this is exactly what Trump meant when he said the enemy within. We do got a lot of people that's the enemies within. JG says Kim Jong-un will have all of these people detained and even deleted. The U.S. government is finally being serious. The Happy Girl says, here's a little something for the sermon. Thank you, Happy Girl. I appreciate you. Aaron L. says, according to U.S. immigration policy, green card holders are protected by laws and Constitution. That's a violation of the First Amendment, like it or not. It's not, because if they committed a crime, which we can identify several different crimes that he committed, their green card can be revoked. That is a fact. That is also in the Constitution. Read it, Aaron. Don't leave stuff out. Somebody get Bernie Sanders' brother off camera, please. Jerry in the building says, good morning, AD chat. Love America first only. I love you. I appreciate you. I also want to acknowledge GR's infantry says Dan Bilzerian calling out Jewish supremacy in his country, and I love it. And then my dog, Mr. Lot in the building. Shout out to Mr. Lot. Says just logged on. What you got going on with the phone, bro? That's what we doing. For those of you that just logged on and you're trying to understand why I'm holding my phone like this, and why I'm answering my phone like this, is because we've made a mandate here on the Anton Daniels channel in the Millionaire Morning Show that if you steal, you got to lose a piece of your finger and then you get it chopped off, and then you keep going down, you keep going down. So if you lose all of your fingers, that means you stole 26 times, and now you got to answer your phone with your palms. So that's what we doing. We answering our phone with our palms. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, make sure I hit a like. Hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Elon Musk recently did an interview with Fox News, an extended interview with Fox News. I haven't checked it out yet, but I definitely wanted to review it with you guys, so I held off. I seen it come across my timeline yesterday, but he was basically breaking down, and he was saying why people like the Jasmine Crockett's, the AOCs, the Bernie Sanders, the Elizabeth Warrens, and so on and so forth, why Democrats do not want the fraud, waste, and abuse turned off, and why they're trying to stop him before he gets to certain organizations, before he goes through with a fine-tooth comb and a scalpel to trim out all of the fat, waste, and abuse, and before he finds certain things inside of what's going on in our government institutions. So this is Elon Musk. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is what he had to say on Fox in his interview.
All right, we welcome to the show and a special interview with Mr. Elon Musk, who, of course, is famed Trump advisor, CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, chair of X Corp. Elon, thank you for doing this. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I want to begin, but among other things, everyone's attacking you for your position. What are you doing in the government? There was a cyber attack on X today, which shut it down and may have been foreign sourced. Yes. It's a big story. You want to give us a moment on that?
Well, we're not sure exactly what happened, but there was a massive cyber attack to try to bring down the X system with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area.
So that. Your suspicion is the website, is the internet up? Is it up yet?
It's up, yeah.
It's up yet. Okay, good. But I just was looking back. Let me see if I get this right. They're setting fire to various Tesla charging stations near Boston. Shots were fired at a Tesla dealership in Oregon. Various nonviolent.
Shots fired, not a metaphor.
Shots fired, yes. Downtown
He
New York,
don't even care. He ain't tripping.
marching against the Tesla showroom. Your stock is way down. You've been criticized left and right.
But look on the bright side.
I mean, why are you doing this?
Always look on the bright side of life.
Yes, I'm an optimist. Yeah.
He ain't even tripping about it.
But besides that,
yes. I mean,
how's your day?
What motivates you to do this?
Was the opera good?
It's tough sledding.
Yeah, it is tough sledding. But I think we're doing the right thing here. There's been a tremendous amount of waste and fraud in the government. When you're part of the government, you saw a lot of that, and there's been, if you look at the Inspector General reports and the Government Accountability Office, there have been many audits that have pointed out that there's a tremendous amount of waste and fraud in the government. In fact, there was a report issued by the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, last year. So during the Biden administration, which estimated the federal government fraud to be $500 billion. So just to be clear, that's not a Trump administration thing, that's a Biden administration thing. So what we're trying to do is get that number down to a much smaller figure, save money for the American taxpayer, stop money being spent on things that I think very few taxpayers would agree make sense. Transgender animal surgeries, or why are we spending money? Why are American tax dollars being spent on this? The president's gone through a long list of absurd things. Why are the 20 million people who are definitely dead marked as alive in the Social Security database? Why were hundreds of millions of dollars of Small Business Administration loans were given out to people aged 11 and under, according to the Social Security? I mean, these must be some very enterprising 8-year-olds,
So think about this for a second. This literally flies in the face, and he doesn't even have to say anything. Anybody with a brain, anybody with a calculator, anybody with an iPhone, anybody that understands Elon Musk's wealth knows that he doesn't have any cash. Can measure it, obviously, with whatever his net worth is. If he have hundreds of billions of dollars in net worth, right? And you have Bernie Sanders, who's a millionaire, and people like him and Elizabeth Warren and the Nancy Pelosi's sitting there saying, oh my God, we need to stop Musk because what he's doing is he's gutting Social Security, which it's not. He's removing people from there that's getting payments that's not authorized. Oh my God, he's going through all of these different departments and all of this stuff. He just wants to enrich himself even more. Well, I think that Musk understands, similar to what Trump understood when he ran for president of the United States of America, that the minute that he takes a position, which he could have just kept selling cars and get richer and eventually become a trillionaire and all of this stuff, right? But Musk understands that whatever it is that he would be able to make from the federal government would pale in comparison to the amount of money that he loses in Tesla's stock price if half of the country starts protesting against you and the sentiment of your company is down in the drain, or it goes lower than what it's supposed to be because you as a CEO actually took a position. So if he loses $100 billion in net worth because the valuation of what he is basically tied up in the equity that he has in Tesla and whatever else companies, there is no $1 billion contract that can make up for $100 billion in losses as far as the equity or the amount of what your net worth is based off of the equity that you have inside of Tesla. He's literally losing money by going through the federal government to make sure that we are not going to be insolvent and we don't go bankrupt as a country. There is no greater sacrifice that you can make for your country than what he's making right now. It's like throwing money away in order to save you pennies, in order to save you as an individual $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a year. He's throwing away money and he's making sure that he's doing the thing that's in the best interest of the federal government. Now, what other sacrifice can you think of that's greater than that? Kenya says, duh, he didn't see it coming. So you think that a person that was able to start some of the most prolific countries, prolific companies, and some of the greatest things that's created American jobs and started some of these things from scratch, has had multiple different successes, can't foresee half of the country hating him? Are y'all, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, wake up. The dude is probably smarter than all of us in this room combined, to be honest. Like, if we just going to be transparent. You telling me that he can't see it coming, that this is a surprise, that he's being outthought by Jasmine Crockett and AOC, a waitress? Are you telling me that he doesn't know what was going to happen and he made the sacrifice and he's being outchessed by these dunce people that are lifetime politicians that couldn't even make it without getting you subsidized off of your taxpayer dollars? Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. You right. You got it.
Pretty strong 150-year-olds.
Yes, exactly. As the president said, we have an enormous number of people marked as alive who are 160. He didn't know the country was that healthy.
Yes. So demystify this. How do you do it? Okay. How big is your team?
Yeah.
Where'd you recruit most of them from? And what is it that makes you choose, the Treasury or Social Security or USAID? How does it work? Let the public know, please.
Right. Well, we just basically follow the money. We look at the president's executive orders, and we also just follow the money. So we started looking closely at USAID because they were completely violating the president's executive orders to suspend foreign aid, what's called foreign aid, but in our view is a lot of corruption. So what we saw there is just a tremendous amount of money being sent to non-governmental organizations. But actually, this, by the way, is I think one of the biggest sources of fraud in the world is government-funded non-governmental organizations. This is a gigantic fraud loophole where the government can give money to an NGO. And then there are no controls over that NGO. So they've given billions of dollars, in fact, we estimate tens of billions of dollars to NGOs that are essentially scams. By the way, I'm trying to put a stop to that. So
I don't want to interrupt, but Secretary of State Rubio has just come out, I think he tweeted today, he has accepted over 80% of your recommendations to shut down in USAID.
Right.
So your review and analysis was spot on.
Yes. So I think when people criticize, say, what Doge is doing, we say, well, which part specifically? Because we put all of the actions of the Doge team on the Doge.gov website and on the Doge handle on X. So we post the receipts. So it's like this action has been taken, this action has been taken. So when we get criticism, we say, like, of what? Which line do you disagree with? Like which cost saving do you disagree?
So Tiege, that's not enough. So you don't think creating a whole website that allows for transparency, which we didn't have any transparency with the Biden administration. We've never had this level of transparency before. So you want it in a spreadsheet, because you can go to the Doge website literally and find out exactly what they're saying that they need to cut and all of that. But you want it in an Excel spreadsheet. You want it in a pivot table. Is that what you would prefer to have it? We need to do it at a higher level. He's going in and he's posting the screenshots, the receipts. He's speaking about it. He's allowing for people to be able to grill him. They're the most transparent organization ever. And you think we need to do it at a higher level. Never mind all of the fraud, waste, and abuse. We're not going to hold the people that's been stealing accountable. We're going to hold the person accountable that's finding the theft. Think about what you're saying right now. We're not holding the thieves accountable. We're holding the person that's finding the theft, and how he's finding it, we don't like the way he's doing it. Gotcha. Got it.
Agree with. And then people usually can't think of any.
No.
So
you said the average American still doesn't see as fraud. Well, the average American doesn't even vote. The average American doesn't even know the difference between a liberal and a conservative. The average American don't even know why they're Democrat or they're Republican. The average American can't even choose a good baby mama or a baby daddy, or know that you got to have. They'll argue me down about having children out of wedlock. Did you see the panel last night and how they were operating? Did you see the chaos? That's the average American. I would say that some of those were above average Americans as far as their ability to be able to communicate and think. The average American is killing 5-year-olds in Dallas and leaving their IED in the car with their baby mamas, from their baby mama that they dropped off at work the day before.
Transparent line by line.
It's transparent line by line.
Which is quite remarkable.
Right. And so, and then with respect to the Treasury, for example, the two main recommendations we suggested, which have now been implemented, was that any payments going out of the Treasury, especially the Treasury's main payment computer, which is called PAM, things like a payments account manager or something like that, but it's like almost $5 trillion a year, so about $1 billion an hour, that the payments be coded with the congressional appropriation, and that there be an explanation for the payment. Very basic stuff. And just doing that, we estimate will save $100 billion a year.
You're not really, let me see if I get this right, particularly with Social Security, you're not really changing policy.
No, yes.
You're auditing the fiscal mechanisms to make sure that, you know, from point A gets to point B, and that's where it's supposed to get to. In some cases, it doesn't get there, or in some cases, it may go over there. But that's it's not a policy exercise. You're not changing laws. You're just doing what any business would do in a profit and loss audit.
I think we're really what we're adding here is caring and competence. And there's a massive amount of fraud of basically people submitting Social Security numbers for Social Security benefits, unemployment, Small Business Administration loans, and medical, where those are fake Social Security numbers, or they've stolen somebody else's Social Security number, and we're trying to put a stop to all of that. And that's the number which is estimated to be on the order of 10% of federal expenditures, which is, you know, half a $1 trillion.
It's a huge number.
Yeah.
You're working with the agency heads. You're working with the cabinet secretaries.
Yes.
I saw Howard Lutnick was on TV yesterday saying you were partnering with them. Is that fair?
Yeah. What we do is in consultation with the cabinet secretaries and with their departments. So. We're really trying to be we'll refer to ourselves as tech support. You know, we're really helping the department get a handle on things, because what actually happens here is you've got this sort of vast federal bureaucracy, and then you've got a very thin layer on top of the politically appointed officials, and what tends to happen is that the bureaucracy, frankly, is in control, and they largely ignore the politically appointed people.
Why should the bureaucracy?
I'm sure you must have seen that.
I've lived with this twice. I worked for Reagan many years ago, and I worked for Trump in the first term.
Yeah.
It's like a permanent bureaucracy. I might add, it's a permanently liberal bureaucracy.
Yes, very much so.
And it doesn't. It's not a bureaucracy that necessarily.
Okay, Raekwon Mingledolf. Let me ask you a question, because I see all of y'all complaining. And you know what's so funny? Especially for you black people, all right? I see black people complaining the most about Elon Musk. What do you propose happens in its place? Because y'all wasn't asking for audits. You never cared about where your taxpayer dollars was going. I had a guy that stopped me today. He was my valet. He said, Anton, where do you think all of our tax money is going? He was a black guy. He said, because, you know, my mother, she over there in Puerto Rico, and she said that they don't pay the type of taxes that we pay over here in the United States of America. They don't have all of that. Now, I don't know how true that is. This is what he said to me as I was getting my car in order to come over to the studio so I can do the Millionaire Morning Show today. What do you guys propose happen in its place? Because the one thing I know about black people is that they complain and complain and they complain about something that doesn't even benefit them. And that's a normalcy in our culture. Like, for example, you guys complain about DEI. What you don't know is that DEI never benefited you. It only mostly benefited white women. So now it's almost like you're protesting to ensure that government programs and taxes go to support and subsidize white women getting positions based off of going to college and getting degrees that they didn't need, that didn't add any value in a society. So now that we know that you're protesting for something that doesn't benefit you, what do you propose happens in its place? Do you want us to just keep the system exactly like it is, and we don't want any transparency? We don't want any audits. You don't want audits. You don't want to know where your taxpayer dollars are going. You don't care about anything. You don't really care about what's going on. You want us to continue to fund things exactly the way it is and see what happens and just roll the dice and see how that's going to affect your children and your grandchildren and your grandchildren's children? What do you propose? Because I'm trying to understand what y'all want. What do you want? All of the people that I see complain the most, they have no solutions. They have no solutions. They have no propositions, no solutions. All they wanted from Kamala Harris is to commute their weed sentence on a federal level. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
Necessarily enforces or implements presidential policy.
They don't. In fact, they try their best to thwart presidential policy. So the president is the elected representative of the people. And if the president cannot get things implemented as a reflection of the will of the people, then what we have is not a democracy, we have a bureaucracy. We have rule of the bureau, not rule of the people. And that's what we're trying to defeat here is the bureaucracy and have rule of the people. You know, and as you mentioned, the bureaucracy is overwhelmingly Democrat. So Washington, D.C. was 92.5%, I believe, voted for Kamala. So this is overwhelmingly a deep blue situation.
How do you pick your next targeted agency or department?
Well, we're trying to act broadly across all departments, so it's not just one department at a time. Are you in all of them now? All of them? Pretty much, yeah.
Yes. Oh.
We're trying to make the government more efficient across the board. So yeah.
How big's your team?
We're a little over 100 at this point.
100.
Get to 200.
You're going to get to 200.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're recruiting from where? More or less.
Basically, it's software people, information security software people, and finance. You know, it's basically, yeah, finance and technology. I mean, frankly, I can't believe I'm here doing this. It's kind of bizarre. But, I kind of think that we've got this enormous federal budget deficit, and it's a $2 trillion deficit. It keeps growing. Our interest payments are higher than.
Hey, did you hear what he just said? He just had a come to Jesus moment. He literally just had a come to Jesus moment. He said, because the way that I translated it, you know, because he's answering questions, and again, you never seen the Biden administration or anybody behind the scenes actually come forward and say, hey, this is what we're doing, and it's okay for you to ask me questions. Whatever it is that you ask me is cool. It's no pre-recorded questions, or you don't have to tell me what you're going to ask me. Just ask me whatever it is that you want. And he just had a come to Jesus moment. He was like, I can't even believe that I'm doing this. I don't have to be here. I can't even believe that I'm doing you a service. I'm the richest man in the world. I can go off and ride into the sunset, run X, run SpaceX, run Neuralink, run Tesla, and just get richer and richer and be able to chill. And I don't have to be involved in this either way. It don't matter who become president. I could just go get richer. He just had a literal, man, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I'm sitting here making myself accountable for people for what?
our Defense Department budget. That's I think was the real wake-up call for me, was looking at seeing that the interest payments on national debt exceeded the Defense Department budget. And that was only growing over time, which meant if we didn't do something about this,
Desiree, you're right.
There won't be any money for anything. We'll just be servicing debt.
And you know how to read an income statement, and you know how to read a balance sheet. You've had some business experience. I'm kidding, but you know about this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, really, I just don't want America to go bankrupt.
So it's a call to action. You're hearing a call to action.
Yeah.
You giving up your other stuff? I mean, how are you running your other businesses?
With great difficulty. Yeah, I mean.
But there's no turning back, you're saying?
I'm just here trying to make government more efficient, eliminate waste and fraud, and so far we're making good progress, actually. So our savings at this point exceed $4 billion a day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very significant.
You think you'll wind up getting to $1 trillion?
Yeah.
Of savings?
I mean, unless we're stopped, we will get to $1 trillion of savings.
And that stuff can be translated. I mean, we've been talking, we had Russell Vogt, the OMB director, on earlier, through very rescission authority, impoundment authority. But I believe you said it earlier, it's an audit that will not gather dust on shelves. This is actually going to wind up with real savings, bend the spending baseline down.
Yeah. There have been many good audits, like I said, done by inspector generals and by Government Accountability Office, and they just haven't been implemented. Nothing's been done. I think the GAO identified that there were 17 million dead people in the Social Security database several years ago. It's now 20 million, but nobody did anything about it. I think you can sort of look at this as a complaint minimization optimization. So basically, if the government sends money out to, whether it's wasteful or fraudulent, nobody complains if they receive money, but they do complain if they don't receive money. And the people that complain the loudest are the ones receiving the fraudulent money.
And you're on it.
Yeah. I mean, so the goal here is let's not have America go bankrupt with waste and fraud. So that's what I'm here for, and we're making good progress.
Yes, you are. You're going to go another year?
Yeah, I think so.
Final report, middle of next year?
Well, we're just getting things done as opposed to writing a report. Like say, reports don't mean anything. You got to actually take action.
Yes.
So the waste and fraud in entitlement spending, which is which is most of the federal spending is entitlements. So that's like the big one to eliminate, because that's the sort of $500 billion, maybe $700 billion a year. That is also a mechanism by which the Democrats attract and retain illegal immigrants by essentially paying them to come here and then turning them into voters.
Yes.
So this is why the Democrats are so upset about the situation.
Let me rewind that real quick.
Essentially paying them. That is also a mechanism by which the Democrats attract and retain illegal immigrants by essentially paying them to come here and then turning them into voters.
Yes.
He basically just told y'all the blueprint for how Democrats even remotely come close to staying in power in the first place. He's saying that, listen, they keep a farm of people because, again, and I told y'all this a long time ago, shout out to Elon Musk. He said, listen, this is what happens from the Democrats, on the Democrat side. And I personally have never heard somebody say, hey, listen, I am switching over to being liberal. I've never heard that in my entire life. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm telling you that this is the blueprint. Democrats are always looking for new people to join the ranks. whether that be in indoctrination camps that we call our universities now, that is no longer higher learning institutions. They are indoctrination camps. Whether that be from illegal migrants coming over into this country, or that is coming from black people that continues to have more children and then making sure that their children become a part of the 92 and 78%, 92% of people that voted for Democrats. I always hear people say, I am switching over to being conservative. I used to be a Democrat, or now that I got older, I am thinking differently because I have too much information not to make the right decision. As you age older, it is a trend for people, not of the black community, sometimes of the black community, to naturally evolve and transition into being conservative. They know more, they learn more, they're looking to protect their assets, they realize that they're taken advantage of, so on and so forth. Democrats want to stay in power. The only way that they can do so is to recruit new people to join the Democratic Party, because it's not natural for you to become a liberal over time. It is natural for you to become more conservative as you get older and wiser. And so they're always recruiting. So basically what Elon Musk is doing is saying, hey, they went on a recruiting drive, and that's one of the reasons why they decided to forego you paying all of these people, subsidizing these people to come over into the United States of America. We're going to leave birthright citizenship in place that was made for American descendants of slaves or African descendants of slaves. We're leaving that in so that we can then justify people having children here. We're going to leave in the whole Dreamers program, and we're going to allow for these people to eventually become citizens, which would also feed into them ultimately becoming Democrats, because they owe us. They owe us as a result of bringing them here into this country. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I'm going to read some of these super chats, and then we're going to get over to the next part of the show. I want to go over to JD Vance, because JD Vance was speaking about how our housing problems, the real estate problems, the fact that immigrants being here is causing and exacerbating the housing problems. Who look better, Tulsi Gabbard or Caroline? I've never seen Caroline's body. I've never seen what she looks like below here, so I don't know. I have a preference for black women that don't have crazy eyelashes, but that's just me. Tyler Benton says, NGL, y'all gullible as F. The hackers can literally be anyone, considering there's this thing called a VPN. Okay, so let me Tyler, we familiar with what a VPN is, okay? We know what a Tor browsers are. We know what all of these things are, okay? You're not talking to somebody that, and I'm not even talking about myself, I'm talking about Elon Musk. Do you not think that this guy that created PayPal, that is an engineer, that recruits some of the smartest people in the world to work for him, that is creating Neuralink, you think that he doesn't know how to bypass and find out exactly where this is coming from, and that your simple VPN, that you have a VPN and you think that that's the thing that prevents him? Come on, man. Y'all can't be this stupid. Is this what y'all think like when y'all go and rob banks, or when y'all decide that y'all want to sell drugs, or y'all want to do crimes against y'all community? Do you think that Musk is not able to figure out when somebody is VPNing from Ukraine versus come on, man. We can't be this crazy. So wait a minute. You go online and you think because you got a VPN that you safe, that the government or some of the most technologically advanced people in the world can't figure out exactly where you... There's literally a VPN. Come on now. Oh my gosh. Lord, bless us. Let me do another prayer before we continue on with the show. Lord, bless us to realize that we have, and don't prevent people from typing, but bless us to be wise in our type and what we typing into the chat. Bless us to realize that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason. Bless us to not think that we're smarter than the richest man in the world, that he's not able to find out exactly where his attacks came from on his platform and his servers. In Jesus' name, amen. Tyler, God bless you. Thank you for contributing into the platform. We appreciate you, big dog. Is that a ring light in the background? Shout out to you, bro. Elon said what AD said, follow the money. Nobody does nothing for free. Please stop. I do stuff for free every single day. I do stuff out of the generous nature of my heart. No, people like you don't do things for free because you so hard up and you so desperate and you haven't grown to a place of abundance. When you get to a place of abundance, it's one of the reasons why you become philanthropic. It's one of the reasons why you want to change the course of things. It's one of the reasons why you want to start using your resources. You ain't got there yet. Just say you ain't got there yet. Shout out to J-Dubs. I appreciate you. I always appreciate your wisdom and the value you add to my life. May God continue to bless you and your family. Thank you, my friend. And I appreciate you for holding me down and for the generous contribution that you're making into the platform. The fraud is why Congress members are hollering and protesting. They are guilty of stealing and afraid of being caught. I believe that. Meow, meow. Mr. Lott says, I love the transparency, how people from the community do we know that are still using Gam's info to get utilities turned on. Facts. Jerome Gray says, why doesn't he go to Congress and testify? What do you mean? Why doesn't he go to Congress and testify? That site is full of lies. That's why he keep taking the numbers down. Okay, Jerome, I got you. You got it. M. Patterson says, you better say it, AD. Rush King 19 says, people fail to realize that customers and people need money to buy stuff. If everyone is in debt and having to take loans, then it falls apart. Charles Keys Sr. says, use the money for black males schools? Is that what you meant to say? The Dems will never be elected again once it's all over. He Batman right now and Iron Man. Aaron L. says DEI is still, here we go with the DEI again. DEI is still necessary. Government agencies pull the NSBE, that scholarships and funding for the next generation programs for not top-notch STEM students. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate you. Manuel AG says he watches too much Law and Order. Charles Keys Sr. says NSA has accounts on VPN servers. AD is seeing just how ignorant and stupid some of our own people are. Ignorance is not bliss. Shout out to Rosita Attila. Billanico is in the building. I appreciate you. Says, when I shifted my mindset from liberal to conservative, my life consistently improved. My grandparents were conservative, but over time, I started adopting the values of the world as to what I was taught. Good showtime. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. As promised, JD Vance did a speech, and he spoke on, or at least this is what the title of the speech was, he spoke on housing prices and what is driving them up in the real estate market. We do have Stock Club coming up soon, and you might want to tap into the Patreon and look at the last Block Club. It was pretty incredible, and I broke down some really, really great information for you guys. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Here is JD talking that talk as usual. Let's get into it.
Thank you all. Thank you. Please.
Let me fast forward a little bit.
Enjoy the town because it is your city. It's never easy to come here, and I also appreciate them far more regularly than they do their federal government, and that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way the Constitution sets it up. We know that good government starts at the local level. So while those and we do that whether we want to or not. So many of the issues that you deal with, of course, implicate local issues, but state issues and federal issues as well. And one area of shared interest between President Trump and I think every single person in this room is the importance of providing good housing for our citizens at a reasonable and affordable cost. And I have to say, I'm hard-pressed to think of a time in my 40 years of life where it's been so hard for normal American citizens to afford a home. Even renting a home has become a challenge, or worse yet, fallen completely out of reach for so many of our families.
Second brother says, dude, you are such a shield. Man, have you seen your avatar? Have you seen your profile picture? Dude, you ran that through. Did you call me a shield? You a grown man with gray in your beard and you called me a shield. Look at your zesty profile picture, bro. I don't know. Maybe you meant it differently. Anytime I see a grown man say you are such a, dude, you're such a shield. What does that even mean? And let me get back to JD Vance. I can't be dealing with y'all sassy dudes.
I was talking with a relative a couple of years ago, and she just made kind of an offhanded observation. As a younger person than I am, she was looking to buy her first home and just mentioned that when her parents were growing up, they could afford a nice home on a single middle-class income. And she was sort of mentioning this as a sorrowful thing. She was sad that that wasn't true for her generation. And I think all of us in this room, certainly including me, have a little bit more work to do, I think, to make housing more affordable. I want to talk about that because I think it's the issue where our interests in some ways are most aligned with the people in this room. I read recently that the average income it takes to buy a new house is nearly 2 times the average salary of your typical American family. Not the average American worker, but the combined incomes of a husband and wife. And that's just not acceptable or sustainable in the United States of America. We want Americans to be able to afford the American dream of homeownership because we know that when people own their homes, it makes them a stakeholder. It makes them a stakeholder in their neighborhoods, in their cities, and ultimately, of course, in this country that all of us love so much. We want our citizens to feel that investment in their own country, and it's hard. It's hard to feel that investment if you feel like you can't even own a slice of it, even if that's what you want to do. Now, on a more basic level, we don't want people living paycheck to paycheck. We don't want them to make trade-offs between a trip to the grocery store and meeting next month's rent. Because even if you don't yet own a home, or even if you don't ever want to own a home, the knowledge that if you work hard and spend wisely, eventually you'll be able to afford a nice place to live, that goes, I think, a very long way to giving people a sense that they belong here and a sense that they have a stake in the future.
What is the American dream today, y'all? I think personally that it has changed. I don't think that the American dream is the American dream of yesteryear. I know that the American dream for women used to be to get married and to have a white picket fence and maybe a dog and 2 or 3, maybe 4 kids. For a lot of men, the dream used to be to find a wife or a person that loved them, to have strong kids, family, community, to ultimately become a pillar of their community, and to have home ownership. And there were other things that was a part of that. I know coming from Detroit, and I know that there's different cultural norms depending on where you're from and what part of the country that you're in. Coming from Detroit, the dream used to have a stable job, maybe get a pension, retire after 30 years, have an old school in the car, and then a stinking Lincoln or a Cadillac inside of the garage. That used to be the dream. One old school and then one luxury car. And then maybe you'll have a little sports car on top of that you want to take in on that Sunday drive. But the old school, you only pulled it out on the dream cruise. You only pulled it out on the weekends. And then the luxury car, you kind of take that on the Sunday. That's your daily. And then you get a sports car. What is the American dream now? I'm not sure if anybody knows or can at a broad scale, because I know that we have our own individual goals, but what is the American dream? Meaning that the thing that is marketed to most Americans that would then drive you to be successful, whether you in corporate America, start your own business, so on and so forth. What is the American dream now?
Now, there's some important reasons why that belief is dwindling among Americans today. And a lot of it, of course, comes from the historic inflation that this country has dealt with over the last 4 years. Now, under the previous administration, to get a little bit political, the cost of a median price home in America more than doubled, and that was just in 4 years. And if your salary didn't—
Is that true? The cost of an American home, a home in the United States of America more than doubled in 4 years? The average home doubled in more than 4 years.
Pace with inflation and rise 20%, your buying power took even a bigger hit. And of course, if you think about this, if the price of a home doubles and the price and your actual salary doesn't double, then you're a lot worse off. And we know that most Americans did not see their salary double over the last 4 years. So it's no surprise that home sales hit a 30-year low in 2024. Now, another reason for the elevating costs comes down to zoning. And the reality, as you all know, is that zoning is an area where federal authority is actually quite limited. And I'm sure none of you want the federal government in the business of mandating how cities and towns handle local laws, and that's certainly not what we want to do either. But I would ask everyone in this room is to be good partners with us, and certainly partners with your citizens, and think about how we can improve the costs of the costs of housing for our citizens. And I think one of the ways that we're going to have to do that is by being a little bit smarter about our local zoning rules. And in particular, when I think about zoning, I can't help but think about it without, of course, the communities that I know best, which are those that I represented in the state of Ohio. And Columbus, Ohio in particular, I assume we've got some Columbus people here. And Columbus is a boomtown in so many ways. I've got relatives and family members who live there, who love Columbus. It's a magnet because it's had so much economic development. But one of the things that I worry about when I look at a city like Columbus or Miami, which became a boomtown during the COVID years, is the unaffordability of housing. And we've got to fix that. If we actually want these places to be magnets, not just for jobs and investment, but also the dreams of our young people, we've got to actually make it easier to build homes. And in particular, I think the city of Austin has done a pretty interesting job, because in Austin, you saw this massive increase of people moving in. The cost of housing skyrocketed, but then Austin implemented some pretty smart policies, and that brought down the cost of housing. And it's one of the few major American cities where you see the cost of housing leveling off or even coming down. Now, the Trump administration has taken important...
I believe personally, and I'm going to try to be as objective about this as I can, because I do like J.D. Vance and I do like what he's saying. But I also believe that there's some other factors that go into it. The title of this is he's speaking about how illegal immigrants are also driving up the prices of housing. There's several different factors that drive up the price of housing. During the pandemic, for example, when interest rates were super low, and that was a mistake, and a lot of people don't actually want to go into that, but it was actually a big mistake for the Biden administration and for the Fed to actually cut rates as low as they did to continue to stimulate what was going on in the housing market. Because what the banks did was the banks made a lot of money off of the fees and people refinancing their home. And yes, you did get low interest rates a lot of times, but for people that were buying new homes, you were also buying them above asking price. And I've seen houses going for above $150,000 over asking price, no inspection. It's a lot of people that's walking around here. They can't sell their house. They want to sell their house. They don't want to sell their house because of the interest rates, but they got to sell their house because they can't afford it, and they house poor, and they don't want to continue to live where they bought the house at, but they don't want to get rid of it because interest rates are too low. When they drove interest rates down to nothing, basically 2 to 3%, in order to continue to stimulate the buying in the economy, yes, banks made a lot of money. Yes, a lot of people pay for homes over asking price. Yes, you are locked into that 2 to 3% over the next 30 years. I don't want to give nothing over to the bank. And so I don't believe in interest at all for myself personally, but it did stimulate the economy. It kept money moving, and then they issued those stimulus checks and so on and so forth, right? It made people entitled to work from home. But the biggest problem for me personally, the biggest problem that I think that is driving up the cost of housing and making a nation of renters is institutional investors. Institutional investors, that is the biggest, the largest, and most impactful thing, in my personal opinion, that is happening to housing, that is driving people and driving up the cost of housing, because you have to compete with large organizations like BlackRock to then be able to purchase a home, which they're able to control the market because they control everything in the market, and they're driving up the cost of living and driving up the cost of homes. If we're going to institute a rule, if we're going to solve for the problem, then you have to attack something around institutional investing. I don't know what the situation is. I don't know how you do it. I don't know what goes on with it, but you have to solve for the problem of institutional investors buying up everything in certain cities and certain towns and driving up the price of these houses. I believe that is a massive Massive reason, because they were looking for protection in spaces that weren't so volatile, such as the stock market or cryptocurrency, because those are places that have huge swings depending on which companies that you invested in. But real estate is pretty stable. You can pretty much predict where real estate is going. And usually, even if there is a correction in real estate, there's always a bigger buying opportunity, and you can generate these properties. Institutional investors are a problem. That's my personal opinion.
Steps to make building cheaper and to boost the supply of housing. Now, of course, it's going to take time, but this is a day one issue for our entire team from the president on down. On his first day in office, the president issued an executive order making it a priority to bring down prices for new buyers. Now, part of that will come from slashing needless regulations, which, according to some estimates, account for about 25% of a new single-family build today. We've also seen Secretary Turner, our great Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. He's working hard on this issue, cutting some of the Biden rules at HUD that hike costs and shifted decision-making from local governments to Washington, D.C. And Secretaries Burgum and Wright, and certainly Administrator Zeldin at the EPA, are putting in important work to bring down the cost of energy, which is, of course, a critical input to the cost of building a home, to say nothing, of course, of heating one and keeping its lights on. But I actually want to focus on something a little bit different, because I think this is one of the areas where what the Trump administration can do and has done is going to be one of the major drivers of bringing down the cost of housing. Now, local zoning, regulations, the cost of energy, these things are about the supply of housing. How do we get more houses out there to be built? But I think it's important to talk about the demand side of the housing market. And so much of what we're doing in the Trump administration when it comes to the immigration issue is framed about law enforcement, about reducing fentanyl coming into our communities. And that is true. That is a big part of why we're doing what we're doing at the border.
Elena, if you are getting your home built, then you want to make sure that you're going with a local builder, that you're going with a local architect, that you're going with a local general contractor, because if you are going with a large home builder like a Lennar Homes, personally, I don't like them. Pulte Homes, all of these large homes, they will skirt, they will cheat, they will cut corners. They build very cheap. They use very cheap materials, and then they paint them, and then they put good hardware on them. They'll put up cheap cabinets, and then put up paint cheap cabinets, and then they'll put deep, nice hardware on them. They do not use, oh my God. Listen. I am a home builder myself. And so, I share all of my knowledge inside of the Patreon. And the quality of homes that they're building are absolute, in my personal opinion, is trash. And then they also create developments that then require you to have HOAs. So just be careful is all I'm saying. Be very, very careful if you are building a home and if you're going through a home builder such as those.
But when we
D.R. Horton also. I don't care for D.R. Horton either.
About housing,
it look good on the outside, but it's bad. It's not nice.
Why costs are so high, we don't talk enough about demand. And one of the drivers of increased housing demand, we know, is that we've got a lot of people over the last 4 years who have come into the country illegally. And that's something we have to work on if we want to meaningfully reduce the cost of housing too. Now just think about this.
And listen, man, I don't even want to give this type of information out. All right, I'm going to reserve it. I'll just say in a general sense. Y'all, gosh, I don't want to do this because this is usually the type of talks that I have in Patreon. All right, I'm not going to go into it deep. I'm not going to deep dive into it and talk all about it. I will say stay away from HOAs. I'll just give you a little bit of general information. Stay away from HOAs and stay away from large home developments. Stay away from cookie cutter neighborhoods that are all being developed that is sold by a major manufacturer of homes or a major developer of homes like Pulte Homes, D.R. Horton, Lennar Homes. Stay away from that, all right? Do not, under no circumstances. I'm not saying that it's bad, but I am telling you that the quality is going to be subpar and the value of those homes are not going to be, you're better off buying land in an already established non-HOA neighborhood and building your home from scratch. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to give you no insight. I'm not going to talk more about it. If y'all want some more information, go and watch the live streams and the videos that we uploaded inside of the Patreon. I break it down line by line. I show you the documents. I show you exactly what I've spent. I tell you what my learned lessons is, where I fumbled, where I got issues, why I'm building more houses, and how I'm going to continue to beat the industry and why I'm doing what it is that I'm doing. Stay away from these large developments. Stay away from HOAs. Stay away from cookie cutter homes. Stay away from large home builders. All right? Might get in trouble for saying that, but I'm just giving you the game.
If you allow 20 million people to compete with American citizens for the cost of homes, you are going to have a large and frankly completely preventable spike in the demand for housing. And that is what we, of course, have seen, because while we made it a little bit hard to build
Toll
homes.
Brothers, I heard, was a little bit better, but Toll Brothers in a lot of places that I see them being built, they build them in higher end areas. They still use cheap products and cheap materials, but people generally don't have as many problems. I don't hear as many complaints about Toll Brothers. I have heard some. I don't hear as many complaints about Toll Brothers as I hear about other places. All right.
Homes in this country over the last 4 years. We've also, unfortunately, made it way too easy for people to compete against American citizens for the precious homes that are in our country to begin with. Now, I'll say this, it's actually not just an American problem either. If you go to Canada, where because of their laws and regulations, they've seen a massive increase in the number of people who have come into their country. You go to the United Kingdom, you go across the world, and you see a very consistent relationship between a massive increase in immigration and a massive increase in housing prices. And we have to be honest about that. Well, I see.
Shout out to Shara.
I see one of our nice representatives out here.
So it looks like people are trying to interrupt JD Vance's speech, protesters and things like that. I actually had heard about this, but let's continue on.
To actually, I guess, continue to flood the country with illegal immigrants, making your communities and citizens unaffordable. But ma'am, with all respect, one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing is because we want to make it more affordable for Americans to live. That is one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing. Now, last week, I visited the southern border, and we decided to check in on what's going on there at the southern border. And of course, like I said earlier, you often hear about immigration enforcement as about crime and about drug trafficking, and that is a big part of it. I was at Eagle Pass, and I was talking to local border control down there, and they told me that in just a matter of weeks, their small part of the border had gone from 1,500 daily encounters to less than 30. And again, that's in a matter of weeks. That's just a...
I do believe that there is a large segment of places, especially on the West Coast, especially over in California, where housing prices are out of control, really out of control, that the population of people and the amount of immigrants needing housing over in those places is one of the things that's driving up the housing prices. I don't think that you can point to any one thing that drives up or drives down housing prices. I think that there's a combination of things that determine what the housing prices or what the market is going to be. All right. You can point to immigration. You can point to institutional investors. You can point to weather. You can point to like I'll give you an example. I warned you guys years ago. I said, do not invest in Florida, especially in these condos, right? Never, ever, ever, ever buy a condo in Florida. If you are going to buy a place in Florida, I would just highly advise against it. If you are going to buy a place in Florida, do not look at it as an investment property. All right. Let me say it again. If you're going to buy a place in Florida, don't look at it as investment property. If you buy into one of these high-rise buildings, meaning that you become an owner of a unit in a high-rise building, you are going to largely be responsible for the HOA fees, which can go up astronomically in order to solve for a lot of the issues, the structural issues. A lot of those places are sinking over there. You have the market is being saturated. People are absolutely they're losing everything because the majority of what their savings are, when they say a lot of times that, oh, it's millionaires, let me say this, and then we can move over to the next thing, because I want to get over into self-deportation app. When they say millionaires, right? Millionaire is largely defined by net worth. Most people's net worth is in their homes. So that can fluctuate depending on whatever the value is in your home. Also, on top of that, there's a difference between a high earner and a millionaire. A millionaire can be determined by net worth, but it doesn't mean that your lifestyle affords for you to be able to do the same things that a high earning millionaire can do. A high earner is a person that can make $750,000, $800,000, even $600,000-$700,000 a year. And then over time, they've acquired enough assets to be determined as a millionaire, but they can still live a lifestyle that affords for them to have the nicer cars, the nicer clothes. They can fly however they want to fly. They can spend, $10, $20, $30,000 for a family vacation. That is the difference between a high earning millionaire and a person that is a net worth millionaire. I prefer the lifestyle of a high earner, making $1 million, $2 million a year. In order to do that, you have to acquire assets that then generate revenue over a period of time, or acquire a skill set that generates a lot of revenue. You could be a doctor, you could be a surgeon, you could have a business. It's a lot of different things that you can go over, and I'm not going to go over it right now, but I want y'all to understand the difference. Most people in California, most people over in Florida, most people in a lot of these places, they are net worth. Net worth is how we define a millionaire, but all of their wealth is tied into mostly their retirement and their homes. So that means when the market becomes tumultuous, they then suffer, and they cannot make the adjustments that a person that generates a lot of income, that is still frugal or still responsible with their resources, they can't make the same type of moves. Okay, so I'll give you another example. Right? Let's say all of your net worth is tied into your home, or the majority of your wealth is tied into your home. And so, like, for example, we've seen what happened with the wildfires over there in California and all of that, right? But let's say the market becomes a little bit tumultuous and there's some ups and downs and topsy-turvies. Or let's say, for example, your homeowner's insurance in Florida skyrockets because the majority of the home insurers in Florida are pulling out because they understand that, like, for example, what was happening during the floods and the hurricanes and everything that was being predicted. You see what was going on over in North Carolina and all of this. And so the state-sponsored homeowners insurance are now trying to subsidize, which they depend on the federal government to make sure that these homeowners are protected so that we can have confidence in the market so we can continue to buy homes. But your home is still valued and appraised, and that's how you determine what your net worth is. So you're a millionaire, but all you need is one disaster or one circumstance or one pickle that you're in that then hamstrings whatever it is that you got going on. You're still limited by the amount of income that you have going on, right? And so you're waiting on the market to return. You're waiting on things to happen. You're waiting on this. You're on a fixed income or your 401k or whatever, and you're waiting for the valuation of it to go up. Now, let's say on the flip side, because that person is now restricted based off of whatever it is that's going on in the market at the time. Let's say, for example, you're a millionaire, but you're a high earner. And this is the difference. Millionaires that are high earners continue to generate revenue. So regardless of what happens in the market, and people keep asking me, Anton, what do you think is happening inside of the stock market? Well, I show my W-2s, I show my 1040s, I show my 1099s, I show what my bank account is. I'm not affected by it. I'm actually blessed by it because I look at it as a buying opportunity because there's a market correction. There's always going to be a cyclical market correction. So now, whereas you're affected by it because you're limited by the ability of you really being able to get out of that home, I'm looking at it as saying, man, can't wait to buy more real estate. Man, can't wait to buy more land. Man, can't wait to buy more stocks. Man, can't wait to continue to capitalize off of cryptocurrency that's now not as high as it was just 2 months ago, right? Because people that generate a lot of cash, a lot of revenue, our biggest goal is to figure out how we can get rid of it so we can reduce our tax burden, which increases our net worth exponentially. And the best time to do so is when we then see a lull in the market, or there's a market correction, or whatever it is, you're under duress because we're going to get your stuff at a discount because you don't know how to operate under duress. And we always going to have another $250,000, $300,000 coming the next month. We always going to have another $500,000 coming the next month. We don't care about losses. We write those off. We only care about the wins. We'll take 10 losses in order to get to 1 win. We'll take 10 losses and we don't care because we're going to write it off to get to 1 win. That is the difference. And that's why you need to understand that there's a difference between the different peoples on a level. Just because you designate yourself as something, or just because you put a label on yourself, don't mean that you're in the same space as somebody else. It's always going to be some more money that's coming because we know how to go get it. You depending on the market. We waiting on the market to do certain things so we can capitalize off of it. It's the same thing in real estate. It's the same thing in stocks. It's the same thing across the board. If you know how to make money, then you always going to get richer, especially when things go bad. When things go bad, that is the time that people get richer. All right? Just a little lesson for you. We might go a little bit over today. We might go a little, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. All right? Let's continue. That's why I always tell people that the biggest investment that you can make first is not in the home that you buy. It's not in the person that you get married to. It is in how much you're going to invest into yourself. It's the sacrifices that you make earlier in life. Your career, education. Y'all keep getting finessed and they telling y'all, oh man, college is a scam. No, the amount that you're paying for college, how you're doing it, and the curriculum that you pick is the thing that's keeping you hamstrung. College is not a scam. That's why all rich people make sure that their kids go to college. Is what you then do with the education, is how you go about doing it. It's not a scam. It's a reason why people that go to college on average make over $1.5 million in their lifetime than people that don't. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. The biggest investment that you can make is into yourself, your ability to earn income. It's okay if you make 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $90,000, $100,000 a year. But my personality, I would shoot for more because I want to leverage that income to ultimately make the investments into myself, making sure that I make even more income so I can generate more revenue. That means I can make bigger investments that would then increase my net worth. Pavia says college is a scam. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I can't make you do anything. I can't make you do anything. The only thing I can do is give you the information. What you do with it is up to you. It's up to you. And I want y'all to remove also this mindset that you're not smart enough. You are. You apply it to the things that you want to apply it to when you want to apply it. If you're trying to figure out how much a gram is, and then you're trying to convert, an ounce over into a pound over into a kilo, for some reason, you know exactly how to make those transitions. You start counting money, right? You start talking about how much you got to pay in taxes, the percentage that you need, your adjusted gross income and all of that stuff. Now math matters. You know math. You just not applying yourself. You don't want to do it because you're lazy and you want to get back on that video game. And so you waiting for something to come easy. You think that everybody that's successful is successful because they just smarter than you. They not smarter than you. Before I get to this last segment, I really want y'all to understand. Nobody that you think is successful is smarter than you. I don't care if you're talking about the doctor. I don't care if you're talking about your latest engineer. I don't care what profession you think that they are doing that is generating more revenue and is allowing for them to live the lifestyle that they have. They are not smarter than you. They are more consistent than you. And they are absolutely, positively ready to endure until they can get to the results. They are willing to sacrifice the next 10 years to get their education, to become doctors, to become surgeons, to ultimately become the engineers that they need to. They're able to network, they do things effectively, and they open-minded. When people close their minds off and they tell me what's not possible, I already know that it's not because of your capability, it's because you just don't believe in yourself. You wasn't taught that you was smart enough. You wasn't taught that you was good enough. You believe that it's okay to just have a regular job. And the reason that I can relate to that is because I believed that also. I believe that my job, that at one point, my goal was just to get a job in a steel mill or get a job in a plant. And it's nothing wrong with having a job. Don't get easily offended. Don't think that I'm talking negatively about you just because I'm saying that you're better than the job that you carry right now. Oh, Anton, somebody got to hand out the coffee. Somebody got to clean up the floors. Cool. But it don't have to be you because you're smarter than that. You're wiser than that. And you're getting the battery in your back right now to do something differently. Fill a niche. We got artificial intelligence now. Leverage that. right? Instead of going to buy a new car when you're 20, 21, 22 years old, when you make your first 30, 40, $50,000, if you can save up $10, $15,000, invest in an idea, right? Develop an application. It may not be successful, but it may be the blueprint to leapfrog into something else that may be another great business idea, right? Reinvest into yourself. Get a better education instead of spending money on, all of these restaurants in order to try to impress women. Stop flying women out and allocate a budget for your education so that you can get higher up and then you can get qualified for the things that you want. Everybody wanted to just do a course. Everybody wanted to just do a quick course so that I could just get my foot in the door, so I can consider myself technology. And then when you want to get a promotion, even if you are good enough for the next level, you don't even get considered because you don't have the bachelor's degree. You don't have the master's degree to get considered for the next position. And now either they're going to have to make an exception for you when you should just be getting that with flying colors because you are the one that is best for the job, but they can't even consider you because you don't want to invest in yourself. We will invest 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day on GTA. Call of Duty, 2K. We can't wait. We will sit there and we will be on a podcast. We will listen to Anton from AntonDaniels.com on after hours. And I'm not telling you don't listen to me, but I'm telling you that if you can sit there and listen to me talk for 3 or 4 hours, you can also spend 3 or 4 hours going in a Udemy course. Going to a classroom. Anton, it takes too much time to go to the classroom. You sit there and you watch Tasha K all night. You sitting there and you watching Aaron the plumber catch a phase, man. I want to catch a phase, man. You want a video, you allocate time to a video game every single day. And I understand that that's your time off and you can chill and you can do what you want to do after you did your 40 hours. But what do you want in life? Do you want to be more successful? Do you want to empower your kids to not have to take out student loans? Do you want to be able to write that check? The proudest moment in my life is when I write that check for my daughter. Wrote that check for her taekwondo. Wrote that check in order for her to go to private school. Wrote that check in order for her to get her car. She looked at the receipt for her truck the other day and she said, wow. It's greater things in life. Maybe that's why I'm having a life moment right now. There's bigger things in life than to pay a 30-year mortgage just because everybody else is doing it. I never, ever, ever was going to pay a mortgage for 30 years. 360 payments. And by the time that I get done, it's going to be, I've paid 2 times the amount. I've more than doubled and tripled the amount that I actually paid for the house. I buy a $300,000, $400,000 property and I pay $800,000, $900,000 when you take in interest and all of the additional costs for that property. Also, I can say that I'm a homeowner. Man, I'm not giving you 360 payments. Man, you can miss me, dog. I made it the minute that I got in the bank and I said, dog, you can forget it. Ain't no way in the world they getting this many payments from me. 360 payments? And I still got to maintain the property? And I got to pay property taxes? And I got to pay utilities? And I got to pay insurance? And I got to cut the grass? I said, it's got to be another way. It's got to be another way. Come on, y'all. We got a mind hack. Listen. We're going to get into this last subject because I want to talk about this self-deportation app. If you don't like me, I'm okay with that. If you rock with me and you are part of the Patreon, I love you for that. But can we all at least agree that there's more to life than where we currently at this moment, even for me, even for you? Regardless of where you are on the spectrum, regardless of whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, whether you're a woman or you're a man, if you're 20 or if you're 40, can we all at least agree on this simple concept that life is not what you making it out to be at this moment right now? There is more to it. At the very least, can we agree on that? How we get there, we can debate it. We can talk back and forth. You can agree, you can disagree with me. Take how you feel. Get out of your sassy feelings right now. And let's at least agree on that. And then we can figure out how to get there. Agreed? We got a deal? You watching every day. We might as well figure out how we can get to the next level together. We can fight and we can fuss along the way, but at least we can agree that, hey, it's more to life than whatever it is that we're looking at right here, and we need to grind and we need to hustle. Fair enough? I think that that's a fair exchange. All right. All right. Then let's get it. Let's work. Let's work. It's more to life than whatever it is that we got right now. And so even if we gonna fight, we brothers and sisters in this chat, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, male, female, trans, whatever. I don't care what you are. Can we at least say that it's better off, we can work to be better off tomorrow than we are today? And next year, I'm expecting for us to be progressively better, for us to be significantly better than we are today, health-wise, financially, mentality, relationship-wise. Can we all at least agree on that? And I'll take that. For today, I'll take that. I'll hold y'all accountable tomorrow, but for today, I'll take that. All right. Let me read some of these super chats, and then I want to get into the self-deportation app. Captain Cisco says, I want Elon Musk to take over NASA. I've been studying NASA, and they've been taking taxpayer money and not doing anything for years. Elon will get us to Mars fast. Shout out to Captain. I appreciate you. Victory Podcast says, y'all better be grateful that Elon, one of the smartest men in the world, is auditing our government and not someone else's right now. Facts. Car Fairbanks in the building. I appreciate you. Thank you. Tony Techie Cyber says, hey, Anton, congrats, young man, on that police award. I appreciate that. American dream is time freedom, which is financial freedom. All right, Nick, I feel you. Brock in the building says, personally, I believe the American dream is whatever you are willing to work hard for. It's not just one idea since we have many more options. Okay. Ray says the American dream is exactly that, a dream, because she had to be asleep to believe it. $5,000 a month retirement and $400 rent in Thailand. That's the American dream for you? JL says, Anton, keep Chicago name out your mouth and stop trying to lower my property value. You ain't got to worry about that because Brandon Johnson going to do that for you. JB Pritzker and Brandon Johnson got that sold up. You ain't got to worry about it at all. You can listen, you should be dealing with them because they're the ones that's raising your property taxes. It ain't Anton from AntonDaniels.com. Miss Crow T. Shetty, shout out to you, says, for the free game you have given us in its entire live stream, thank you. Zach says, thank you, Miss Crow T. Shetty, I appreciate you. Zach says, the biggest buyer of houses worldwide are Chinese. ABJ's Wise and Strong says, 80, just be wanting to help y'all. Salute. Mark says, if the Doge initiative fails, we blacks are screwed. When hyperinflation begins, no wealth fundamentals, no nuclear families, no political understanding, stagnant population growth, it's the end. I travel for work. Is there a way I can go to school for cybersecurity online? Of course there is. Absolutely. We all CEOs of our own life. That's a fact. In my opinion is in the building. I appreciate you. Shout out to Showcase Classic says you are definitely putting the battery in my back, Anton. Let's get it. What's the alternative to a mortgage? A house that's paid off. You don't have to have a mortgage. You do know that, right? I'm not going to go into it right now. You don't have to have a mortgage. I just want y'all to know that. You don't. All right? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I appreciate everybody supporting the platform. Let's get into this self-deportation app. Now, the CBP-1 app was an app that Biden administration had created that essentially allowed for migrants to come into the United States of America and essentially get on a waiting list to basically be taking advantage of the American taxpayer system. But they would come all the way over to the Mexican border, and then eventually they would jump on a CBP-1 app in order to safely cross over to the United States of America, still illegally because they wasn't American citizens and they didn't go through the right way. and they didn't have green cards, but it was a way to expedite the process to get inside of the United States of America without having to worry about all of the possible dangers that go along with it. Well, when Trump came in office on day one, they shut down the application, okay? They shut down the app. Now, they've reopened the app, but it's not the same app. They're basically allowing for people to deport, self-deport. Now, some people would ask themselves, why would a person join this app in order to self-deport, especially considering they're already in the United States of America and they just waiting to get caught by ICE? It's a reason for that. Check it out.
Well, breaking right now, the Trump DHS is launching a new self-deportation app for illegal immigrants, giving those in the U.S. illegally an incentive to cooperate. And Bill Melugin is live in L.A. with more. Hi, Bill.
Dana, good morning to you. So this is pretty remarkable. The Trump administration has taken that controversial CBP-1 cell phone app for migrants that the Biden administration was using, and they've repurposed it into a self-deportation app that is officially launching today. And we're getting an exclusive first look at it. Take a look. The app is now called CBP Home. It allows illegal aliens in the U.S. to register to self-deport. They fill out biographical information, including their countries of citizenship, which country they plan to return to, their alien registration numbers, their contact information, and it allows them to upload photos of themselves to confirm their identity. All of it is then submitted to CBP, and they leave the country. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, why would an illegal immigrant want to self-deport? Well, DHS says if they leave now, they will have the opportunity to return to the U.S. legally in the future and chase the American dream. But if they don't leave, they will be found, arrested, detained, and deported with a permanent ban on entry into the United States.
So, I'm going to give you the game, and I'm going to present this to you in the same way that I presented this to you. For all of y'all that was sitting there telling me that you're not taking a buyout that Trump and Elon Musk said and offered to you guys, and you said, I ain't doing that. Ha, Anton. I can't believe you even sitting here having this conversation with me. Listen and listen closely. I know we got some illegals that listen to this program, or maybe you know a couple of illegals that you need to send this to. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I warned y'all, and I told y'all, I said, listen, they're offering this buyout, but don't think that they're not going to come to your organization with a fine-tooth comb. You have an opportunity to get paid all the way through September, update your resume, and still be getting paid while you go into the private sector. Or you can take a risk. You can take a risk and say, nope, nothing is ever going to happen to the federal government. Elon Musk is not going to see this through. Doge is not going to tap into my organization. And my diversity, equity, and inclusion job is protected by the federal government, because nothing ever happens with government jobs. Then I seen y'all on the app like, I can't believe it. I should have took the buyout. My organization is being dismantled, and I got 5 bullet points that I was supposed to submit, and I decided that I didn't want to submit it, and now I'm suing for my job back. And I said, look, you have to weigh your options. We had a whole conversation about it. You didn't pay attention to what I had to say, and now you're paying the price for it. Some people took the buyout. They said, you know what, Anton? It's not such a bad idea. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom anyway. Some people took the buyout because they said, you know what, Anton? You know what? I do have a great education. I'm great at what I do. I can take advantage of this, get paid, use that money to invest in myself, or invest in a business, or invest in my portfolio, or help pay off my mortgage, or whatever it is, and then I can go and make more money doing something else. Some of you risked it, and you got craps. You hit snake ass. Same thing for this situation, okay? Now, you can risk it, and you can try to hide for the next 4 years and hope and pray that there is not another Republican Party that comes in 2028 and is hunting for you. You can risk it, you can wing it, you can play games, but they've already started to make examples of people. You can risk it, you can wing it, you can play games, but they have already started to make examples of people. What is Anton saying right now? I am telling you that they are saying that you can use this app to self-deport so that you can come back into the country at some point legally. That means doing it the right way, the way that you should have did it the first time. Or you can sit there and complain and cry on TikTok when ICE come and get your boyfriend and you pregnant and you trying to figure out how you going to make it and he got to go back to Venezuela. It's up to you. It's up to you.
In a statement to Fox News, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said in part, quote, the Biden administration exploited the CBP-1 app to allow more than 1 million aliens to illegally enter the United States. With the launching of the CBP Home app, we are restoring integrity to our immigration system. If they don't self-deport, we will find them, deport them, and they will never return. The Biden administration's use of the CBP-1 app allowed more than 40,000 migrants to come into the U.S. at a port of entry every single month. That totaled nearly 1 million migrants by the end of his presidency. President Trump terminated that app immediately upon taking office, leading to scenes like this, showing migrants dismayed at the border on the day of his inauguration as they learned their CBP-1 appointments were canceled and were never coming back. And DHS tells me that any migrants who had that CBP-1 app on their phone will see it automatically update to this new self-deportation app starting today. And DHS can also use the data from the prior CBP-1 registrations to track migrants for removal. So in a nutshell, Dana, Trump just took Biden's program, which was bringing migrants in, and has now totally repurposed it to get them out. We'll send it back to you.
And I started hearing some radio ads that were mirroring some of the ads from the new secretary on cable. Now they're now on radio, and they're going to be in those countries as well and targeting them so that they know not to come or to go ahead and get themselves out of the country.
Have y'all ever seen that scene in Superman when they sent Kal-El from Krypton because Krypton was dying, and they were also sending the people that was trying to have an insurgence on Krypton, and they were actually sending them into space. And before they froze them up and sent them into space, he was like, "I will find you." Have y'all never seen that scene before? That is basically Tom Homan. Tom Homan is going to find you. There is nothing you can do to hide. My advice personally, now I know that you're not looking for my advice, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Self-deport. Self-deport. I'm trying to tell you that you have an opportunity, or maybe you can just go. Maybe you can just go and make your own place great. Maybe you can go and make your own country great. Y'all never seen that scene where he said that he would go find him? This is what you need to be looking forward to. If you're considering staying over here illegally, but you got caught, remember I showed you this scene right here, okay? Oh, I can't watch it? Okay, let me see if I can find it somewhere else. That was General Zod's trial. I have a feeling that if I play it, then I'm going to have to cut it out of the stream anyway. It is what it is. Oh, well. But the point that I'm making is that you guys have to be very, very careful with your decision making, because that could be the determination for whether or not you can come back over here illegally. You can come back over here legally, or if you want to get deported because you are an illegal migrant inside of the United States of America. It's not worth it. I've always found, and maybe it's just because I'm that type of person, but I've always personally found that I am not the type of guy that can get away with doing something that other people can get away with doing. And you may be that type of person. I'm the guy that will be sitting there in line, and it could be 50 of us in line, and I'll be thinking to myself, they not going to select me. And they be like, you with the AD shirt on. Can you please step out of line, sir? I'm the person that, you know what I'm saying, going through TSA, and they going to go select me for a hand check almost every single time. I'm the person that, for whatever reason, when I was coming up, I could not steal with the rest of my friends. When they was going into the corner store and stealing the 25-cent chip bags and the little juices, the little 25-cent juices that they used to have back in the day, I couldn't do that because for whatever reason, the man behind the counter knew my mama and you know what I'm saying? They knew my parents and they was going to make a phone call because they was related to Auntie Stephanie and you know what? I seen Anton. They said that they caught you in the corner store with them thugs and them hoodlums. What you doing? I've never been that type of person. So what I've learned earlier in my life is that I have to, the quarter water. I have to be the person that just got to do it the right way. There's no point in trying to finesse. I'm going to get caught. I'd rather not even be in this position in the first place. You was skipping school. The police ran up in the spot that y'all was having a house party. I just so happened to go into the kitchen to get some water when they came and kicked in the door. Caught. Man, how come I'm always the one that's always getting caught? Every time. Every single time. Every time. And my turning point in life is that I was of a certain age. I was in school. And I decided to sneak out of the house one night. And I decided to go and link up with this girl. And so I went and linked up with the girl. I'm going to give y'all a little bit behind the scenes. I went and linked up with this girl, and I had everything planned out right. It was all mapped out. It was all beautiful. And for whatever reason, and I don't know if God just designated that I'm supposed to get caught, the alarm didn't go off. The alarm, I had like 4 different alarms set off, and none of them went off, and I overslept. As soon as I got home, like, After that day, I said, never again. I'm done with finessing. I'm done trying to do things that the world is doing. I am not meant to be of the world. I am supposed to be doing something a certain type of way, and my success is going to have to come differently. Everybody else, they can do whatever they got to do. I'm just going to do it the right way. I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting caught. I'm not hanging out with people that ain't supposed to be hung out with. I'm going in a different direction. That's when my life started taking off. That's literally when my life started taking off. Is when I decided that I'm no longer going to get caught up.
Huh?
Hey, Mom, you busy? I'm on a live stream.
Oh, yeah. Getting ready to go on the bank with Craig. What's up, babe?
Do you remember when I snuck out to be with that girl?
Yeah, I do. I remember. Yes. Uh-huh.
That was a perfect plan. I wasn't supposed to get caught.
No, it wasn't. He was only 11, I think, right? Wasn't it?
Yep, I was 11.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was not the perfect plan.
It was a perfect plan. I wasn't supposed to get caught. I woke up late.
All kids think like that. That was not the perfect plan. What if Leslie did that? Perfect?
No, that's not that. No, that doesn't count. We're not talking about that. Boys will be boys. That's what we do.
That's the wrong answer, and that's what I was told all of my life, and that's not true. No, and that's the problem with the entire society. How about that? No, wrong.
I loved her at the time.
No, you didn't. He was 11. Do you hear yourself? Do you hear your own voice?
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Oh my God, my life is something else. My life is something else. Yes. So many different people, so many different times, but I love them all. From the time that I was 10, 11 years old, I loved them all. I did. I truly loved them. Anyways, trying? What you mean trying, Will Nola? I wasn't trying. I was living life. The stuff that everybody started doing in high school, I had already lived it. I was moved on to something completely different by the time that I got to high school. Anyways, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats and get y'all up out of here. Kay Harris is back, and hi, Terrence K. Williams. Shout out to you. I appreciate your numbers. Yeah, send that to me. Send that to me. Email it to me. Foxhole99 says, I have a Venezuelan buddy from down the road. I'm going to borrow some money from him, then fill out his information. Y'all so ignorant. I appreciate you. Mr. Anton says, Dolores, I appreciate you too. Absolutely more to this life, and I'm 59. Thank you. Shout out to you, love. I like that. I like that. BZE says, hey, AD, quick question. If I put my money in SPY to hold, then take out when I need it, do I have to pay taxes on that? It depends on if you made a profit. Depends on if you made a profit. Rush King 19, you got to pay the money on a profit. Says the ET Phone Home app, illegal aliens can point their finger now. Phone home, go home now. Artifacts is in the building, says, I got the super sticker. I appreciate you. Courtney Smith says, good day, Anton. President Trump repurposed the CBP1 app just like he repurposed the USDS. Doge, Trump is continuing to out-strategize the Dems. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. We have the after hours tonight. After hours tonight, we getting it popping. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see y'all tonight. Peace.